Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a good morning today. And I know this isn't the most ideal situation considering that we can't be in class together face to face, but we're just going to have to take this as best as we can and just take advantage of the situation that we could still at least conduct class. So we're just going to have to try to act like this is a normal class period and then just get through it together and hopefully we could still learn. Today's lesson, we're going to be going over different movements in American history that led to social change. We're going to Today's class period is going to be a little different, however. We're going to start off with this discussion. I'll be going over a few different movements to kind of give you guys like idea of what they are, and then you guys could bring up any ones that you know about, and we could just have a discussion about it. But then I'll touch on this more after the discussion, but we'll be talking for however long the discussion takes, and then after that, I'm gonna let you guys go, and you're gonna be able to have time to work on the project that I want you guys presenting tomorrow. It's nothing big, nothing to stress over. It's just you're all going to go over a different movement and just present it. It could be a PowerPoint. You guys can just talk about it. I prefer a PowerPoint so we could have visuals, but it's totally up to you guys. And you're just going to get a movement of your choice, and then you're just going to have to go over how this led to social change in America as well. So to get the conversation going, I'm just going to bring up a couple different examples of movements to kind of help you guys like understand what exactly a movement is, because not I don't expect all of you to really understand or know what exactly I'm talking about right now. So one movement that was a big part of social change in America was the Harlem Renaissance. Now, what exactly is that? Well, the Harlem Renaissance was a development of the Harlem neighborhood in New York City as the black cultural mecca in the early 20th century. It was a huge social and artistic explosion in America. This is when the African American people really started having their culture explode across the country and have everyone kind of get a taste of what it really was. And this is oftentimes considered a golden age for black culture, as it manifested in many different types of literature, music, stage performances, and art. This was really just a big time for the black culture to kind of express themselves and show what they can offer the world and how their culture is unique and not something that we're really used to. And obviously, this is huge because you see African American culture everywhere now, and music mainly, then sports, literature, art. It's everywhere now, and because in this Harlem Renaissance was one of the main things that really put it out there and exploded it. Another movement that contributed to social change is the African American migration, which is mainly known as the Great Migration. It was in between like 1915 to 1970. It was a big movement of where upwards of 6 million African Americans moved out of the South and up to the Northeast and Midwest states. Now, they did this because during this time there was poor economic conditions and as well as a lot of racial segregation and discrimination because the South states still were conducting Jim Crow laws. So the African Americans really didn't want to be in the South anymore due to segregation, due to their just not having the best economic conditions and not being able to really live the lives that they want. So they came up to the North and Midwest to be able to improve their lives, and a lot of them moving. As I said, it was upwards of 6 million African Americans that came. So this was a huge movement because it brought their culture and their people up from the South to the Northeast and Midwest and really changed and completely helped shape what we know as America now. And another movement that really contributed to social change was women's suffrage. Now, I'm sure you guys have all heard of women's suffrage. It was the women making a movement to be able to earn the right to vote. But what you might not know is exactly how challenging it was for them to do it. It was not easy in the slightest. It took almost 100 years for women to be able to earn the right to vote from when they first started trying to campaign for this amendment to when it actually was ratified. And it was ratified August 18th, 1920. It became the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, and it gave all women the right to vote and really stressed that they should be treated just as equal as men. And the last movement that contributed to social change was the Prohibition. Now, some of you probably have heard the Prohibition before. It was a nationwide ban on everything that had to do with alcohol. You couldn't. There was no productions. you couldn't import it, there was no transportation, and you couldn't sell it. They completely banned alcohol for 13 years. Now this became a problem because people obviously they didn't want to let go of alcohol, and it's huge to people. So they were sneaking around, making things in their garages. There was like a whole underground like black market movement with alcohol that became a serious problem. So they got rid of it, but it still contributed to social change because it really showed how important, not I don't want to say important, but how high of a demand it is to have alcohol. It really stressed that something like this shouldn't be taken away from the people. So these are just a couple of different movements that led to social change. And now I'm gonna change the conversation over to if you guys have any questions on any of these or different examples that you guys would talk about. And then we have a conversation. I keep the conversation going, and then after we got to a point to where there would be like the conversation stopped, or we've been talking for quite a while, and I want to give them work to go on to their project, I would let whoever's talking finish or get their point across, and then I would transition to the students talking about how I want the project to go. So I would say, all right, now after that conversation, I'm going to try to touch base on you guys with the project that you guys will be presenting tomorrow. Like I said, it's nothing major. I just want to see where your guys' heads are at and if you truly understand like these social movements. And I also want just a different variety because I only gave you guys four. There are four big ones, but I only gave you guys 4 examples, and there's tons of movements that you could choose from. So it's okay if there's a couple the same. I just want you guys to pick your whichever one really stuck out to you, and you guys could pick one of the ones that I gave as well, and just go more in depth in it if it really was something that interested you. So I want all you guys to just pick a movement and really go in. What was the movement? Who contributed in it? How did it change how did it contribute to social change in America? And how is it presented today? And yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna keep the Zoom meeting open for a little bit in case you guys have any questions, or just if you guys want to go more in depth over anything that we talked about today. So yeah, just make sure you guys finish the presentation by tomorrow because each of you will be presenting it. And so yeah, I'm just gonna keep the Zoom meeting open for a little while longer in case you guys have any other questions. And if not, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early through Zoom for your presentations.